Hi, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Unstable Chronicles. I will say the name is a work in progress. If you have any better ideas, let me know. So, the whole purpose of this podcast, it's a bit of a creative outlet, um, therapeutic in nature. Uh, it's going to be for everyone who's medically complex and perpetually dismissed and gaslit by our medical providers. And I want to share my story along with other people. And that way we can create a community and let everybody know that's dealing with this, that they're not alone. They're not the only one. There is so many of us, which is horrifying that there is that many, but it kind of is what it is for now. So for this first episode, I'm going to start with just do some research. I don't know how many times any of y'all have heard that, but this particular event sticks out in my mind. It's burnt there like a brand. So for the most part, my memory's kind of toast. I spend a lot of time dissociated to a degree, like autopilot. Um, yeah, running autopilot exe. That's the most productive, sadly, way that I found to manage a lot of the pain that I deal with. And it doesn't necessarily mask any of the pain. I guess it lets me continue to do the things that I have to do mostly. It's exhausting though. Anybody who deals with that, it's exhausting. It takes so much energy to do all of the things on autopilot and wear the functioning human mask. I mean, it's a mask. It's anyway. So this particular event was in March or April of 2022. I had a referral for pain management because the October before, I breathed wrong and injured my back worse, re-injured, I don't know, made it worse, whatever. It was bad enough that I could no longer stand up straight. I had to tape a TENS unit to my body to be able to drive to my classes that were in San Marcos. I live in Temple. That's 100-ish miles, 106 miles one way. That's a whole different story. But in order to be able to get to my classes, I had to tape a TENS unit to me because the stickies would lose their sticky and they wouldn't stay on. And I was pretty miserable. But, I had to be at these classes. I had to do the things that I had to do. And so I finally got this pain management referral, and they made a whole big deal, even for the very first appointment. They're like, you have to have a driver in case they decide they want to do things. And well, I was like, but it's the initial appointment. Oh, you still have to have a driver or they won't see you at all. Okay. So one of my very good friends, she took me, and so she lost out on work because of this. And I will go ahead and say there was zero reason for me to have a driver. None whatsoever. Because Dr. Dick, he didn't even want to see me. His nurse practitioner, she was great. She was nice. We go through, she does her exam. I tell her all the things. She can see I cannot stand up straight. I'm obviously uncomfortable. My heart rate's way up. My blood pressure is really high for me, but within normal limits for everything else. And it is clear that I am uncomfortable. And she says, oh, we're not going to, oh, hello, Pixie. We're not going to do anything today. This is just, I guess Pixie wants to join in. This is just an initial consultation. And I was like, well, they really hammered in that I had to have a driver in case y'all did something. So it made it sound like y'all were going to do some sort of injection or something of the sort. Well, let me go get the doctor. Y'all, and I knew before I even attended this appointment, I knew it was going to be an absolute shit show. He walked in and had the you're wasting my time, pompous kind of air about him. And the first thing he says to me is, well, I saw your imaging. Your MRI is not that bad. I've seen far worse. It's like, oh, congratulations. So have I. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? We're not here to talk about other people. We're here to talk about me. Because I was in my 20s, I think. No, I was probably still in my 30s. I don't know. And I'm like, I don't think that it's reasonable for me to be in this much pain. So he goes on and he's going about, well, I was looking over your chart and you really just need to do some research, get better nutrition, get better sleep, and exercise a little bit, and that's going to fix a lot of your problems. Well, I'll be damned. If only I would have thought about doing my own research. And I looked at him, and I'm pretty sure I was just absolutely shocked that this jackass would say this, looking at me and say this. And he's like, well, I saw fibromyalgia in your chart. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. Well, that's what's causing your issues. So you really just need to do research on your condition, and you're just going to have to push through it and get to a point where you can manage. This man is a pain management doctor at a major teaching hospital. And this was what he did for the very first impression. This is the first time I have met this man. He didn't know me from Adam. And that's what he starts with. And at this point, I was just so aghast, just horrified that this was the just level of disregard for a patient in pain at a pain management practice. That, like, I just cried, had no control. And all because, one, he didn't think that I was in bad enough shape. I didn't look bad enough. I was still walking. So couldn't be that bad. And I asked, I was like, so you're okay with me having to tape a TENS unit to my body in order to function? Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I was like, cool, I'm not. I think that's absolutely unreasonable. And I was in a lot better shape at the time. And I was just speechless, befuddled. I had no fucking words. And I just sobbed in my friend's truck. And I didn't have her go back with me because I was at a pain management clinic. This is going to be the place that takes me seriously. Boy, was I wrong. So then I was so upset by it. Still, at the end of the day, I could not sleep that night. And I wrote a letter that was 8 pages long, handwritten, on why it was bullshit that he told me to just do my research. Because, first of all, I have ADHD and autism, and my research skills are unparalleled. I have gone down all kinds of rabbit holes. I have made connections that he couldn't even possibly imagine. Like, how dare you assume that I've come here without educating myself in some form or another. Mind you, I've also been in the medical field. And I was finishing my degree in a hard science. So research skills were not something that I needed to really perfect at this point. So all that to say, I know for a fact that I'm not the only person that experiences this and feels this way. During the time, anytime it happens, you always feel like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. How is this happening? That you feel very alone. So I know that I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only one. Every day there are all kinds of new stories and reports. I guess the cats really want to be in here, be in on this. There's always a report about a woman losing her life because a doctor just couldn't be bothered to listen to what she was saying, or another patient taking their life because they just can't deal with pain because their provider thinks it's absolutely reasonable to be like, well, if you just do your research and get better exercise, that's going to fix your problems. And that's not acceptable. And the whole reason for this podcast is to form a community, and we can share our stories, figure out ways to help each other advocate for themselves and their family or friends. I mean, you might have a friend that is dealing with this, or a family member. So it's not something that's a foreign concept. Everybody either deals with this or knows somebody who does. So I think that there's value in sharing these stories and trying to figure out ways to advocate for each other in this broken medical field that we have in the States. Specifically, I can't speak to other countries right now, but since I live here in the States, we're going to talk about how fucked up this medical field is. And I know it's not all doctors, and I know it's not all nurses. And sure, there might be some drug seekers. There might be. You know what? You know what I say to that? Who fucking cares? Because if I really wanted drugs, the ER and a pain management clinic is not the place I'm going to go first. It just, that's too much work. So again, for this first episode, I just wanted to go over one experience I had that I'm sure other people have heard that phrase, just do some research. And if you care to share your experience, by all means, please. I would love to hear it. And I do want to offer support that I can. I want to offer you a voice. We deserve that. All of us do. Everybody. We have a voice. We deserve to be heard. And I think we have a duty to help each other. So, because life as a complex patient is hard enough as it is without being dismissed and gaslit by a medical provider. So, that will be the overall point of the podcast, to inform and help create a community where we're not just the one unlucky patient that slips through the cracks. So if you know of somebody, or you are somebody that has experienced this, please, I would love to have you share. Or send it to me and I can share without divulging any specific information. Happy to do that. All that to say, I feel like I said that a bunch. I haven't ever done like a podcast kind of thing before, and I've not been one that particularly likes to hear my voice on a recording or public speaking. So this is going to be pretty raw, and we're just going to go with it, because I think that's part of what will help is the rawness. It's not supposed to be polished, because it's not a polished topic. I decided to do it out of a therapeutic sort of outlet, if that makes sense. Initially, I planned to do a blog, but I write in a very technical manner, and I feel like the voice and the emphasis wouldn't come through the writing like it would a video and voice recording. So that's where I landed on the Unstable Chronicles. And again, that name is a work. It's a work in progress. I can workshop that, But I would love to. I would like to help other people, and I think that would help me helping other people. As cheesy and corny as that may sound. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to do at least an episode a week, maybe every 2 weeks. Again, chronic condition sufferer here. So, I work a full-time job, and I have animals and family, and sometimes I'm too tired to eat, just bone tired. Like my marrow is tired. So there could be some lapses, but I'm going to try to do at least one episode a week. So again, if you have any stories you want me to share, if you want to be on here speaking with me as like a co-host, I would love to have you. And I just want to say you are not alone. You are important. You matter, and we can get through this together. Until next time.